Good afternoon and welcome to OG Dweeb. Tonight I'm going to be DMing my first session in maybe 2 or 3 years. Before that, I've only ever DM'd maybe 2 sessions, and personally I feel like my improv skills are very lacking. And you might notice why as we go through this, but I just thought I'd quickly show you how I've prepared for this. I have a friend who's new to D&D. She's played a couple sessions with a different group, but, wanted to get a better handle on things. So I said, well, okay, I'll try running you through because I need practice too. What I first did was went through various websites and I printed out some helpful cheat sheets. Unfortunately, my monster manual and my Dungeon Master's Guide are still on their way here in the mail. But I think I'm pretty well prepared with these. As you can see, the first sheet has combat progressions, different types of combat, ranged attacks, melee attacks, 2-weapon fighting, etc. Up here we've got stealth and hiding, cover and movement, various conditions like blinded, deafened, frightened, and invisible. Down at the bottom we've got an exhaustion table. Here we've got different elements of spell attacks. For example, here's, line, cone, cube, sphere, and cylinder as described by the spell. Here's targets, components, duration, combining different magical effects, spell casting classes. Everything you need to know about spell combat is here. And on these, unfortunately, when I printed them, the edges were cut off, but it is what it is. I can still understand what's going on. These are all different ability checks: strength, dexterity, constitution. Then here we've got damage and dying, resting. Again, the conditions. Some of these are redundant, but they had information on them that the first sheet didn't have. Here's experience, encounter building. These are meant to, these landscape pages are meant to be hung in a DM's screen. And since we're using Roll20, I won't need that, but these are very helpful. And I wish I remember what site I printed them from. I might have gotten them off of Pinterest, as a matter of fact. Here's survival, animal handling, investigation, again with the checks. Weapons. The weapon, their cost, their damage, their weight, and what type of weapon that they are, like two-handed or finesse or what have you. Whether they use ammunition or not, etc. And here's combat. On your turn, you can movement, interaction, action, bonus action, or reaction. 5 different things you can choose on your turn. And here's a better explanation. Here's a tap, cast a spell, dash, disengage, dodge, escape a grapple, grapple, help, hide, improvise, ready, search, shove, or stabilize. So these were very, very handy. And I think I've got everything covered here with this, just this, without my DM's guide, which is unfortunate. And then I've got some vision, travel, combat. A lot of these, again, are redundant, but at least I'm prepared. And then the adventure we'll be doing is a rodent problem by Jason Bacon, which I downloaded as a PDF, pay what you want, from dmsguild.com. And this little packet is an 1 to 2 hour adventure for first level characters. I had to scale it back a little bit because I have a solo player, and I did create an NPC player character for myself to kind of help her along with some heals. But this is very well laid out. I've downloaded several adventures I've been looking over from DM's Guild. But I went through and I highlighted, the dialogue, important points, the location of each enemy with the maps that were included. And I also, since I don't have my monster manual, went through and printed the stats for each of the enemies we may run into during the adventure. So that's what I've got so far. I really like to be prepared. Like, again, I know I'm not very good at improvising, and I think part of the problem is because I prepare so much. Like, I've highlighted everything the way that it goes. Well, if my player decides to do something a little different, I need to be prepared for that. So what I did was I printed some character reference cards, and I went through and quickly created some NPCs in town. I gave them stats. Now, my particular player tonight, I know, she's not going to be attacking townsfolk. But I have run into that in the past. So I leveled these townsfolk, well, the major townsfolk, the quest givers, in such a way that it would be about darn near impossible for 1 or 2 players to kill them. So that's what I did with that. I'm coming up with my own little area. It's called Oakenvale. And if my friend enjoys herself tonight, then wants to run some more with me, then I'm going to center all of our little one-shots in Oakenvale, and I'll continue to expand on various townsfolk and things like that. But that's what I've got. Let me know if you guys think I am over-prepared, well-prepared, not prepared enough. I also have a notebook that I take notes in, and I've got my player's handbook handy here. Now, my player tonight is playing a class I've never played before, which is a warlock. And I'm also, my little NPC helper is a bard, which I've also never played in a campaign before. Like I say, I'm always like a wizard or a sorcerer in general, or a druid. I've played a druid as well. I like to stick to casters, even on my MMORPG games like World of Warcraft, MapleStory 2. I play casters. So I think I'm also going to have to make an effort to learn more about the other player classes that maybe I haven't used before and become more familiar with their abilities and things, especially for new players, to help them along. So that's what I've got. Let me know what you guys think, if I'm prepared enough, or I don't know. I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I want to do a good job. I want my player to have an enjoyable time. And yeah, so I'm going to get going and continue to prepare. We're playing at 9 tonight, so we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. Talk to you later.